Alright, so you all know how it goes. Every time you turn the camera on, every dog in the neighborhood wants to start barking, and the neighbors want to cut their grass and work on projects and stuff. So, try and tune out the noise, because this is all the time I've got to do this. But, yeah, I'm going to broad fork these small 20-inch beds, and then rake it out, get the walkways shoveled, and then I'm going to have wood chips in the paths. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to make another video clip that talks about broad forking and why it's not the worst thing in the world to do every once in a while. I'm going to talk about why I'm broad forking it. And yeah, so here we go. I don't have much time to get it done because I got to go to work. So, let's see. I'm gonna go. Gotta wait for the plane to go over. Okay. So, broad forks. Let's talk about them. Here's my broad fork. It's a meadow creature, 14-inch. It's the tall one. I really like it, actually. It's built like a tank. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if you can see it better over here, maybe. anyways, we're down by the western pond garden that I just put in. The chickens have been doing a decent job. I'll give it to you guys, or girls, and guy. But it's just so muddy down here that, I don't know, it's just really muddy. It's hard for them to really scratch down deep and get all the roots like I was hoping they would. But pigs would be great, honestly. Run a couple pigs through here in like a week. They'd have it clear. Give them 2 weeks just to be a little on the safer side. Then follow it through with chickens. That would have been the ideal, but oh well. Anyways, broad forking. Now the neighbor's dog wants to come say hi. Oh no, Willow's coming. Willow and the dog don't like each other, so Willow, stay. I'll have to put you in with the chickens if you don't. No. Now you're getting all nervous because the dog's here. Why does this gotta happen? Always. Something when I'm doing a video. Okay, hold on. Willow. Here, just chill out. Calm down. Anyways, broad forking. Let's see. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably freaking out like, oh my gosh, he's broad forking at Paul Gauchi's while he's going to destroy everything. And no, I'm not. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all under control. I'm broad forking these beds, or these whole garden areas, because it's thick with wire grass. The chickens aren't going to get it all out, so I have to loosen the ground so I can make it easier for me to pull it up throughout the season. If you think about it, if I went through and pulled each one of their roots out, I'd be doing more damage than tilling. Actually, around just about the same amount. It just wouldn't be a quick and simple job like tilling would be. But I'd basically be tilling the ground throughout the summer while I'm digging. And I don't want to do that. So I'm broad forking, that way the ground on the areas that I plant is soft and loose and aerated. That way I can just go down and pick up, say, okay, here's a piece of grass. No, never mind, that's too messed up. Anyways, I could go and grab the weed in an inch or two. This dog is nuts. Oh, you are so muddy. And you have your foot in my pocket. What are you doing? Anyways, I could grab the weed and basically pull it up, and the majority of the roots would come up with it without having to disturb the soil too much. Let's see. I broad forked my garden area over by the barn. I don't even know if you can see it. You might be able to somewhere back there. Probably not. I broad forked the beds. I put 30-inch beds. Well, I put 7 30-inch beds with 1-foot walkways, and then there's actually 3 that are 20-inch. Willow. There's actually 3 beds that are 20 inches wide just because they fit better. Anyways, I broad forked just the beds, and I shoveled the top 2 to 3 inches of compost out of the walkways and put that on the beds, and then in the walkways I'll go and fill it with wood chips, and that'll allow a nice carbon rich environment that I can inoculate with different types of beneficial fungi, and then I have a good clean area to walk in, and it'll just make it easier and keep it a little less weedy in the growing season. So I did broad fork the beds, and the only reason I did it in that garden is because, like in years past when Paul gardens, he does 1 row and then a 2.5 foot walkway in between each row. And having the tours every Sunday throughout the summer, that's a lot of people walking through his rows, and that causes for light compaction. And yeah, like anywhere where you have a lot of foot traffic, it's going to be a lot more compacted than, say, out in a pasture. Well, depending on what's on the pasture, but out in the woods. We'll go with the woods. Paul likes to use the woods as an example a lot. Out in the woods, it's not going to be compacted because there's not a lot of foot traffic going through and just constantly tamping the ground down. Yes, with all the wood chips and the compost and everything else that he's used over the years, it makes a lighter, fluffier growing medium, but it can still compact. So that said, I broad forked it. There's a right and wrong way to do it. I'll show you how to do it. What else? I guess I could use a comparison between Paul and Charles Dowding. So they both do basically the same exact type of gardening. One's called no dig, the other called back to Eden. Paul uses more wood chips when it comes to the orchard, and Charles uses compost. Either way, both act as a ground cover, so they both are really the same thing, just different ground covers. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so the way Paul gardens and the way Charles gardens is different because Charles likes to use beds, and he has a walkway and he has a bed. Paul, it's all flat. Charles is all flat too, sorry. But he devotes sections of the flat ground to be his bed and then his walkway. And Paul, it's just wherever you put the rake and make your line. I'm so muddy now. Wherever you put the rake and make the line, that's just going to be one row. Charles does more of a bio-intensive way of gardening to where it's the whole bed. So his beds, even though he says he does step on them, doesn't get as much foot traffic as his walkways do, just like Paul's garden, which is basically 99% walkway and the rest is crop. So I like to garden with the bed method, just because you can grow a whole lot more. Paul grew a ton in his garden, but he could grow 10 times that ton if he utilized his space better, but he doesn't need to because it's just for the household. And it was just for his 7 kids growing up and his wife. But with the market gardens, I'm trying to max out production in a small space in order to supply my CSA program. So you've got to do a different method. Willie, you're all naughty. So anyways, broad fork that garden. I'm going to have to broad fork this one. That one I did to loosen the ground a little bit, and this one I'm doing to loosen the ground in order to get the majority of the weeds out and to make it easier. And being that this is sub-irrigated by the pond, it's really wet and really soggy and really muddy, so popping that soil and getting some air down there is actually going to help it a lot. When there's no air, it becomes anaerobic. Same with it. When there's a little air, it can become anaerobic. So, yeah. That's that. Trying to think, is there anything I'm missing? Anyways, chickens, Willow, what do you guys think? What am I missing? Willow, you know you're not supposed to be up there. Get down. Get down. Anyways, I'll do some close-up videos and show you how to do it. Yeah, so here we go. So you stick the broad fork in the ground, step on it, maybe wiggle it in a little deeper. And then a lot of people, hopefully I have enough room with this chicken tractor, a lot of people will pull through. Yep, not enough room. Anyways, hold on, we'll do that again. being that this is all grass actually, like the grass roots, it's not going to be as good of an example. So I might take you over to another section, but yeah, we can do it with this anyways. So wiggle it in, lean back, and just pop that soil just so it gets some air in there and lifts it up. And then you'd go right down your row. Just a little bit, just like that. And you'll see in the clip that you watched before this or after this, wherever I decide to put it, that when I did the garden over by the barn, I wasn't pulling the tines all the way back to where they popped out of the ground and brought the soil that was in the bottom to the surface, because then you'd be tilling, and you can till with a broad fork, but that's not what you should do. That's a no-no. So let's see, I'm trying to think. There's another spot over here with less grass, it might be better. Okay, let's try it over here. So, step on it, wiggle it in there. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm doing this. This is not how you broad fork, or how you should broad fork. Do not do that. That is bad. Okay? Because it brings up, and it's really muddy. And it kind of stinks. Okay, that's another thing. Being that it stinks, it tells me that the soil's going anaerobic. This is the lowest part of the garden. It's actually the lowest part of Paul's property. And we've had a ton of rain. Yeah, that doesn't smell good at all. That's not cool. Anyways, being that I just forked it all the way down, it's pretty forked up. And now all those weed seeds that are way down yonder are going to be way up here, and that's where my crops are growing, and that's not a good thing. So there's a small area. I'm sure I can manage weeding this little section right here, so I'm not too worried about it. But I will inoculate this section of the garden a little better with my biological compost tea to get that life going a little better. I'm gonna try and turn that up the right way. You can just see how like squishy it is. It's a lot of water in the soil. So this whole area is getting broad forked the right way, not the way I just showed you. So hopefully that allows the soil to dry up a bit more. It's not this mucky in the summer, luckily. So yeah, let's see. Meadow creature, 14-inch tall. That's what's up. Made in the USA. Yeah, buddy. So anyways, this whole area is getting broad forked. Once that tarp comes off on the east garden, you know, I'm just gonna take you over there. What was I saying? Or what was I saying? Here's the chickens. I'm gonna have wood chips in the section in between the west garden and the east garden. This is the cherry tree, plum tree, there's some blueberries. Chickens are kind of just prepping the ground so I can lay cardboard. And then 6 inches of chips across the ground in there. Probably end up growing like squash and ground cover kind of vining crops like that. There was grass clippings all around these blueberries and the plum tree and the cherry tree. And so I spread them out it's actually a really bad idea to put grass clippings around blueberries and plum trees in particular. Too much nitrogen to a blueberry or to a plum tree or to any fruit tree for that matter is just not good. With plum trees, because they have so much sugar, they take up so much sugar and produce so much sugar, aphids will love them. And when they have that extra nitrogen, it's way too much for the tree, and the aphids come in and they try and balance everything out. You don't want aphids on your plum tree, and you don't want your blueberries not doing well. So both of them should have a thick layer of wood chips, not grass clippings. There's a proper mulch for everything. But anyways, just thought of that while I was walking by. And, that's why it's all spread out and looks all clumpy. So I just spread it out. The chickens will spread it further, and then I'll come through, lay cardboard down, and 6 inches of chips on top of that, and then this whole area will be done. But the east garden already has compost down, and as soon as the tarp comes up in, say, I don't know, let's see, it's mid-February, March, probably pull it up second week of April, depending on the weather. Yeah, we'll see what goes with that. But I'll pull the tarp up, broadfork it, and then I'll shovel out walkways, make my beds, lay cardboard down in the walkway, because the weeds and the grass, the wire grass and stuff, their roots are still going to be there. So I'll pull as much as I can out before I put wood chips down in the pathways, but you know how it is. Some stuff will still come through. Cardboard, wood chip pathways, have just the compost on top of my beds, and plant right away with as much as I can, because my crops are going to be the ground cover, which is going to help suppress the weeds. Anyways, I was talking about the pond. My card's full. I don't have much room left on it, so if you like this video, don't forget to like it. Hit that little like button, thumbs up, whatever it is. Hit the subscribe. Be sure to watch my other videos. Comment below. Do all that fun stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm running out of time. Peace out. Happy gardening.